My name is Marques Worrell from Cleveland, Ohio. I fight out of Cincinnati, Vision MMA. My three biggest attributes as a fighter are my mental strength, my stand-up, and the people I grew up fighting with. I carry them with me in my heart at all times, and it makes me strong at all times. I think he's a good fighter, strong jiu-jitsu. There's always a chance he's gonna beat me. Anyone can beat anyone. I just don't think he will. That's why we're all here.
Here he comes out of the blue corner, Marques Worrell. Looked as happy as could possibly be in his pre-fight interview. 6'1" as a professional, 28 years old, standing at 6 feet 4 inches tall out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Like I said, break down this fight for us, Jackson. Break down Marques for us.
As I said, I mean, he started training at a very young age with his friends. Nothing formal, but they just grew up fighting, and it's part of his identity, part of his lifestyle. And look at his build. He's 6'4" at 170 pounds. That puts him in like the 99th percentile, the top 1% of tall guys in that division. That is a huge advantage if you know how to use it properly.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. Now, do you think that's going to be a key factor in this fight? He's going to try and keep the distance, trying to be a rangier fighter, and try and pick apart the shots from the outside.
I totally do. Now, what I know about Washington Da Silva, he's a classically trained striker, he's a Muay Thai fighter, and they have a slower starting pace. If Marques comes out guns blazing, puts that jab in his face, and follows up with some power, it's going to be a quick night for Marques.
And Marques is entering the cage right now, looking primed and ready to go.
Hi, my name is Washington Da Silva. I'm from Recife, Brazil. I'm training Renzo Gracie, New York City. My two biggest strengths is my head, is my heart. Marques is a regular opponent, nothing special. When they walk in the cage, I see nothing but my victory.
Here he comes out of the red corner, Washington Da Silva, rocking a 4-1 pro record, 32 years old, 5'10" tall. He's been 10 years in the game, representing Renzo Gracie, New York City. He's a striker. His prediction is victory. Jackson, let's talk about Washington Da Silva.
Man, a few words. You know, I mean, English is not his language. It's tough getting some real information out of him, but he does his talking with his fists. Here's the thing about Washington Da Silva. You're not brought over from Brazil to train with Renzo Gracie at headquarters in New York City if you are not a legitimate fighter. Now, at Renzo Gracie, New York City, you have George St. Pierre, you have some of the UFC champions. I mean, it's a laundry list of guys who have been there and done that at the world stage. I'm not sure that Marques has that kind of training partner. Now, Marques has trained with some really, really tough guys. Really tough guys. He's listed them down, guys in the UFC, all over the place, fought internationally, but Renzo Gracie, New York City is it's the hub of East Coast mixed martial arts right now. It is the heart and soul of East Coast mixed martial arts. I'm very excited to see what Washington Da Silva is bringing up from South America.
I gotta ask you, Jackson, you said Renzo Gracie being like the mecca of East Coast grappling and training center. What makes it so phenomenal and dynamic for these fighters coming up?
Well, it's not just Renzo Gracie himself, it's his legacy. So Dante Rivera BJJ is a product of Ricardo Almeida, which is part of the Renzo Gracie Association. So they have a huge sprawling network of high-level fight camps. And so the cream rises to the top from these gyms, and they congregate centrally at Renzo Gracie, New York City. So they spread their fingers very, very deep and very wide on the East Coast, bringing some of the top talent from all combat sports together to train.
Washington entering the cage. Let's check out our tail of the tape. Jackson, take us through the numbers.
You know, here's the thing. As far as I can tell, the only main issue here is just the massive height and reach advantage that Marques Worrell has. Now, it's not a boxing match, it's a mixed martial arts fight. If Marques can land that right hand, he's going to deliver a knockout shot, but mixed martial arts.
Let's throw it up to our ring announcer, Stephen Peacock.
And now for the main event of Global Proving Ground 19, Fighters Against Bullying. We have to my left, a fighter with a 6-1 pro MMA record. This 28-year-old from Cincinnati, Ohio, stands at 6'4", weighs 170 pounds. Representing Vision MMA, in the blue corner, Marques Worrell. And to my right, we've got a fighter with a 4-1 pro MMA record. This 32-year-old from Brazil stands at 5'10" and weighs 170 pounds. Representing Renzo Gracie, New York City, in the red corner, Washington Da Silva.
Here's the thing about these guys that come up from Brazil. So, you know, he calls himself a striker. He's 4-1. He may have like a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu that we don't even know about. They fly under the radar, and they bring a lot of experience that's not necessarily on the books. But that is a textbook Muay Thai leg kick and a beautiful strategy against a tall guy like Marques to open us up.
We were talking about Muay Thai fighters often starting slow. There was nothing slow about that start. He wanted those legs and take them clean off right from the gate.
Yeah, and what a great strategy. They call them cut kicks sometimes because you are chopping your opponent down like a tree. It is a great strategy. As we saw in our co-main event, Josh Key landed one kick, and Mike Winter's leg was splotchy purple. He's going to have a hard time sitting down on the toilet later.
It's going to be awful tomorrow morning when he wakes up.
You know, Washington's got a great position. He's in side control right now. I think if he were to keep it, I take it back. From that 10-second exchange on the feet, I switch my prediction. This is Washington Da Silva 100% by whatever he wants. You see a guy move like that, you know he's been training a long time.
Washington on top right now, both fighters wearing the black trunks, but Marques Worrell with the high beast trunks.
You know, and Washington's he's not in a hurry right now. He's got side control. He's letting his opponent make the first mistake, and that's beautiful jiu-jitsu. That's traditional, you know, jiu-jitsu 101. Take them into deep water where they can't swim very well and just wear them out a little bit.
And it's looking like Washington wants to make the step over to get full mount, but tell me, what does Marques have to do right now, Jackson, to better his position? Explain it to the fans that might not be so knowledgeable on the ground, per se.
Well, what he needs to do is create a little bit of space. So you notice that Washington's chest is firmly placed upon Marques' chest. That means Marques is taking all Washington's weight. So Marques really needs to get his forearms in between. We call it framing out, create some space, and scoot his hips out. He's doing a really good job of that, but and with those long, rangy legs, able to recover some form of half guard. But he's turning right into a guillotine choke.
And it does
right into a guillotine choke.
Marques right now. Yep, he escapes. Let's see how he goes. Oh, nice. Hey, was his knee on the ground? Was that illegal?
You know, I was so concerned about that guillotine I didn't see, but Gasper Oliver,
it was definitely close.
Definitely close. Gasper Oliver, he is one of the most experienced professional referees in this sport nationwide. If he saw something, I'm taking his word for it. And you see Gasper's corresponding right now with Nick Limbo, the New Jersey State Athletic Commissioner here on that. I'm not fully sure of the rules.
All right, let's take a look at that knee right now, Jackson. And I don't know. It's so close.
It's so close. I mean, Washington was getting. Here's the rule: if you have anything but your 2 feet touching the ground, knee and kick strikes to the head are illegal. But it looked. I can't make that call.
It was a tough one to call, but I gotta say, Jackson, in that situation, one of the toughest jobs in the world has to be a referee.
You know, you can adjust the direction of the fight incredibly. I mean, that could have been a TKO. It's hard to say, but you know, you got Gasper Oliver in there, a true consummate professional. He's there to enforce the rules and keep the fighter safe. If he calls it, it's questionable. It's questionable. And I'm not gonna dispute that.
At the end of the day, that's one job in mixed martial arts that I would not want is to be a referee. At the end of the day, somebody's gonna wind up not liking you because of your calls.
Marques looks to be setting up that right hand with a little bit of unorthodox stance and handwork right now. Washington's doing a good job of getting his range with his kicks. Marques is just, he's too tall, he's too long, he's really hard to connect with if you're headhunting.
Now, Marques keeping his hands down. First rule you learn in fighting in any sport is, you know, chin down, hands up. Is he lowering him in? Do you think it's a wise decision what he's doing right now, Jackson?
That's exactly what we're talking about. You know, Marques didn't learn how to fight. He didn't walk into a boxing gym one day and say, teach me all the fundamentals. Teach me how to stand. Teach me the strategies, you know. He started fighting with his friends, and this is just what works for him and what's been working for him. You can't argue with success. 6-1, always wins by submission or knockout. What are you going to tell him? Put your hands up? It's working for him.
Yeah. Now I gotta ask you, Jackson, with the theme behind this event, GPG, Fighters Against Bullying, you have to think when you go out in the streets, the last person you would ever want to possibly bully is one of these fighters here, and you never know, judging a book by its cover, who you are messing with. It's just not smart on any part.
You know, some of the toughest guys are 130 pounds. They don't look like anything. I got to reference Marcelo Garcia, one of the top jiu-jitsu guys in the entire world. This guy looks like you know, and Marcelo, please don't choke me out. You look like a teddy bear. You look like a nice guy, and you are a nice guy because you don't have to be a jerk because you can choke anybody out at any time for any reason.
And at the end of the day, Jackson, yes, this is a fight, but it's an art.
Martial and art. But you know, Marques is. I mean, he's got some unorthodox stuff, and it may work against other guys, but he's running into a little bit of resistance with Washington Da Silva here against a really strong base of fundamentals.
And Marques is doing a great job with the scrambles and switching positions. 10 seconds left in the first.
He's just able to generate so much lift and leverage with those long limbs, and he knows he's got a really intuitive sense of using his body style to his advantage. Great first round for both fighters. I give that to Marques.
I'd agree with you. So let's check out the replay, Jackson. All right, taking a look at our replay now. Jackson, can you take us through this?
Yeah, you know, Washington's got a good sense of attacking the legs, and for whatever reason decided to take him down. Scored some points with side control, really wasn't able to make anything happen, but Marques not afraid to step in and make some things happen for himself either. Ooh, big knee. Big knee. That's gotta take it out of him.
You're too far apart. Go ahead and get a little closer to him before you throw that right hand, okay? Lay back. Deep breath in, hold it for a second, blow it out as slowly as possible. You're doing fine. Deep breath in, hold it for a second, blow it out as slowly as possible.
Some solid advice there from Coach Steve Dement. Relax, but find your range on that right hand.
And his coach said you're doing fine. Would you agree with that assessment? Do you think he's doing fine, or could he do a little bit more? And can you explain what else he could be doing, Jackson?
You know, he could do a little bit more. He could be a little bit more aggressive with his hands. It's like he's waiting to counter, but Washington's so fast and so powerful.
Oh, that shot looked like it hurt Washington.
It can be really tough to counter somebody that generates so much power.
Every time that it looks like that Marques is getting hit, it looks like, I'm kind of bored now. And then he starts to press the action again. I'm kind of wondering about the style, Jackson.
It's, you know, one of the hardest things as a fighter is dealing with somebody that keeps switching up their pace and keeps switching up their rhythm. As soon as you feel like you got a handle on their timing, they just change it up.
I guess that all goes in the game plan.
Now those leg kicks, they have to be adding up. Marques is doing nothing to defend those leg kicks. He's just eating them, but this is a 3-round fight. There's 15 minutes to deal with. It's got to add up.
Washington catching the kick and taking and dragging Marques. Oh! Brutal kick to the leg.
You know, more demoralizing than anything.
Yeah.
Marques just a little lazy on his transitions. Like
just sitting against the cage, looking bored, looking irritated. And you know, Jackson, when I see people just eat the leg kicks a lot of times I see that with the shorter fighter that will eat the leg kick so they can come rushing forward with the punches. That doesn't seem to be the case with Marques at all. He's just eating.
He's eating him, you know, and the first rule of Muay Thai is answer back. As you know, you train, I train, you get kicked, you kick back. But he's just sort of chilling. I'm not really sure what his deal is. It's got to be adding up. I mean, he puts his pants on one leg at a time. He's made of flesh and blood. You know, maybe it's bravado. Maybe he's trying to pretend it doesn't affect him. But he's losing some steam on those transitions. He doesn't have that pop he used to have. And I got to say, I got to credit those leg kicks for that.
Absolutely. And I'm not an active fighter at all, but I got to think that he's got to do a little bit more than just look a little bored. He's got to press the action a little bit more.
He's doing a good job finding his hands. He's just not throwing enough. He's moving his head. He's doing a little bit of showmanship. That doesn't win a fight.
Absolutely not.
Now, the last place you want to be is under a guy like Washington Da Silva in side control.
Straight out of Brazil.
Straight out of Brazil, and he wants to elbow you in the face.
Yes.
And you'll notice here with Marques, he's letting his arms sort of get away from his body. Anytime your elbows start to leave your body, they're vulnerable.
Like you said, you know, Washington being out of Brazil, obviously Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu being predominant there, but he has a strong Muay Thai background, which is also predominant in Brazil as well, which his strikes are heavy. There's no reason to believe that they're not. I don't understand why anybody would want to be on the bottom end of this right now.
You know,
he's doing a good job scrambling, Marques is, but go ahead, Jackson.
You know, you wouldn't want to be. I think it's more a case of just trying to pretend like it's not affecting you, because the proof's in the pudding. No matter what it looks like when nothing's happening, when push comes to shove, Washington is getting his way. He's just getting his way. And, you know, Marques is a tough guy to deal with just based on his physicality. He's unorthodox. He's got a unique build. But at the end of the day, fundamentals win fights.
Not to mention, Washington's just a solid guy.
Oh man, he's got that old man strength. He's got like dad strength. You know, you can just.
And nobody ever wants to mess with their dad. You know
no, your dad would whoop your butt like
anytime.
Easily. Anytime. Yeah. And Marques has got a I can't see from this angle. Looks like he's got a Kimura locked up. And he abandoned it. That's okay though. In north-south, this is also a prime opportunity for him to land some strikes and attack the arms and the neck.
Now, if you were Washington Da Silva right now, Jackson, what would be your next move? Take us through the fans. What would you want to do to try and execute your game plan if you're Washington right now?
You know, I think he's doing a really good job of just casting a wide net with his attacks. You know, if something doesn't stick, he's not trying to force anything. He's just going out there and attacking.
He's adapting very well.
Yeah, you know, it's like, it's good jiu-jitsu. If it doesn't work, don't force it, go to something else. Marques just looking like he'd rather be somewhere else. I'm not really sure what's going on here. You're not going to win a fight sunbathing on your back.
No, and if I was Marques right now, like you said, Washington looks like he wants to be anywhere else. If I was Marques right now, I'd want to be anywhere else.
Yeah, I would not want to be under Washington Da Silva. This guy's legit. I'm not sure who beat him.
Final seconds. Oh, did he get it?
Saved by the bell.
Saved by the bell.
Literally saved by the bell.
Wow.
But that's got to be a good boost for Washington going to the next round, knowing that he's wearing him down, and he may get the submission.
All right, Jackson, let's roll through our replay right now. Can you take us through?
Well, you know, some unorthodox striking here. Huge knee from Marques. But you know, you're not going to hurt somebody with abs like that, carved out of granite. And again, this is sort of the story of this fight so far. Unorthodox attacks from Marques, fundamental defense and capitalization from Washington. You know, Marques has got the look, the swagger of a really good fighter. But as I said, when push comes to shove, it's just not there. He doesn't have the technique to get past Washington Da Silva.
One more round left in the fight. Who do you think has it at this point? I feel like I already know, but let the fans know.
You know, Washington Da Silva, he's up, and I think this fight's going to end this round. Marques just looks broken. He looks broken.
He doesn't look good right now. Tell the fans, if you were Marques, what would be your main goal right now to try and take this contest back in your hands?
Man, I don't know. you know, he's kind of thrown everything but the kitchen sink at him out of his arsenal.
And his range is not working.
Yeah, you know, that double jab, using that jab. Oh,
Just as we said that, tags Washington.
You know, that's what he needs to do. He needs to range him with the jab and land the right hand, but Washington, having none of that, takes him back into deep water, and Marques just, you know, what does Marques have to do? I'm sure it's going through his head, like, he hit him with everything, and that right hand probably finishes most people. That's like a Tommy Hearns-esque, long, snappy, just powerful right hand, and Washington stunned a little bit, but he's not backing down, he's coming forward.
Not at all.
That's scary, it's like fighting the Terminator.
I gotta ask you, a hard shot like that, like you said, it would put away a lot of people. It definitely hurt Washington. But I gotta wonder at this point, 4 minutes left in the fight, what does Marques have to do? Because obviously big shots like that aren't necessarily going to be working for him. Is it too little too late?
It might be. He does have 4 minutes to work, but he needs to be setting those up intelligently and executing. He can't wait. He's waiting. He's you know, I've been there, especially as an amateur, when you're still figuring out your style, still finding your heart. I've been in a few fights where in that third round, I know I'm down. I'm just trying to survive because it sucks. It really sucks. It's not the pain, it's not the damage, it's just it's like running into a brick wall and not knowing how to get through it. But the great thing about MMA is it can end at any time. Tim Dooley, Darnell Murphy, one kick, one strike, turned the entire course of that fight. And, you know, Marques can't give up on himself.
Landing big shots like that, hurting your opponent, and then constantly having to keep moving forward because the shots aren't necessarily damaging. You're an active fighter, Jackson. I want to ask you, is it discouraging to the point where it gets that much more discouraging because you just feel like you can't do anything?
Yeah, you feel helpless. And you can see when a fighter breaks, and Marques Worrell, I think he broke. He might have 1 or 2 shots left in him, but he doesn't have the grit and the determination to plow through any sort of adversity now effectively. And, you know, Washington, unfortunately, getting a little comfortable, not really working to finish the fight as much as he was. He knows he's got this one in the bag. But
this whole contest, Washington should have looked at ease, whether he's standing, whether he's on the ground. Like you said, the old man strength, quote unquote. The experience has to play a factor in this fight.
You know, 10 years of mixed martial arts training. You know, I think I could see Washington Da Silva as one of those guys that had a cot set up in the back of the gym, and he was there 8 days a week working on his skills. First to enter, last to leave practice. He is a fighter through and through. And, you know, I want to see something spectacular out of him. He has an opportunity right now to bring his name, bring his style and his persona to a larger audience in the United States. He needs to get on a highlight reel right now. He needs to do something to say, I am here, and I am here to stay.
Just as you say that, Washington switches into side control. And there's still time left, Jackson. I mean, we got a minute 20 left. I mean, he can completely take off from this point. Or he can maintain position, ride through the easy win.
You know, it's tempting. When you're in there, you're in minute 13, minute 14, and you're tired. I mean, it is so hard to fight for 15 minutes. It is just so hard. It just takes everything out of you. And he has no reason, you know, in his mind, no reason to finish this fight. He knows he can win it this way. It just, that's what separates the champions from everybody else. They dig deep, they can find that, and they're always looking to finish the fight. I'd like to see that out of Washington Da Silva, but I think we're just going to see him sort of chill out here. And
as he's going for that armbar. Not too late, Jackson.
It's a tough armbar to finish with the shin on the ribs like that. Marques is in a great position right now to defend. He's doing his best to compress, but Washington needs to sort of peek out the back door here and get a little bit more space to extend his hips and bridge and arch into that armbar.
And he escapes the armbar with 10 seconds left on the clock.
And Washington's just like, you know what? This is cool. I'm going to chill.
I won.
Hold on.
And that is the end of our contest and main event of the evening. Tell us how you saw it, Jackson.
You know, I don't want to get down on Washington Da Silva. That was a great performance. As a fan, as somebody who wants to see that big, flashy knockout, that huge submission, I left a little bit to be desired, but a very, very strong, very effective performance from the veteran Washington Da Silva against a really crafty fighter.
All right, let's take a look at some highlights from round 3, Jackson. Take us through the action if you can.
All right, well, here we go. I mean, this is probably where we saw a flash of brilliance from Marques with that. Where's that right hand? I know it's coming. Where's the boom?
There it is.
Boom, right hand, right over the top.
Wobbles Washington
Double
Da
right
Silva.
hand. I mean, Tommy Hearns all over again, but just not enough strategy, not enough fundamental foundation behind it. And Washington took his best shot and shrugged him off and continued to just grind away. And that's a beautiful strategy in fighting. You need to just break your opponent. And
Got a nice little cut under the eye, but superficial, not going to leak in the eye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back at GPG 19 with your results after break. Thanks for listening.